It is Thursday, everyone. Welcome into the News 10 Plus Digital Desk. I am Taylor Gattoni with the Claudia Sella from Studio 10, and we are repping today. Represent.
It feels
Go
good
Lions.
to wear sports stuff. I don't get to do this often, so it feels pretty cool. So.
I know. We're in the fall season, or basically almost the fall season. It's coming up quick, so lots of sports.
Yeah, and it's actually getting cooler outside too, or at least when I went out there. It didn't feel so humid, but
No, it feels
I'm
like
sure,
fall. You want to
yeah.
grab like the flannel?
I'm sure Colton will tell us all about that later. But it is starting to feel like fall, and it is starting to get me in the mood of football. And speaking of football, if you're in the mood for football and fall, I have a show that you should watch. Have you heard of Studio 10?
Oh my gosh, every day, Monday through Friday at 3 o'clock?
Yeah, we'll be there in about an hour. But really, we actually have like a really fun lineup of things to talk about, from all things honestly, all things Lions.
That's good. You got to support the home team.
Yeah, like what we were saying, we're drinking the blue Kool-Aid, that's for sure. So first, we have Nicole, who's going to be at a restaurant, North Kitchen, which I actually really love.
Yum.
She's going to be talking about food, drinks, everything you need to know about game day, and there's actually something interesting going on. So you can win pizza there by showing them your touchdown dance.
So like any dance, any touchdown dance that you might have when you're celebrating, they want to see that, and you'll get...
I think so. Yeah, so we're going to have Nicole explain free pizza.
Free pizza.
So Nicole's going to explain the details about how you can actually win, but you can win if you're dancing. That's all. That's all. I'll leave that to the imagination, because I think everyone's touchdown dance would look different. And I'm not really sure what they're expecting, but, you know.
Do you have a touchdown dance?
I don't really know what I would do.
I think mine's more of a jump up off the couch and go, woo! Not really a dance, more just like a...
You know, if I were to get a touchdown,
What?
I think I would stand there in shock that I got a touchdown.
You're just like,
Be
oh my gosh.
"Whoa." But I think...
I did this.
I think when I see touchdowns, usually with the people I'm watching the game with, they're so loud that I'm like... when there's a touchdown. Yeah, that's how I feel every time there's a touchdown. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my
'Cause
god.
everyone around me is screaming. So I'm not really sure what my touchdown dance is. But
That's all right.
I might have to find out, because I want some pizza. So
Yeah, free pizza. Touchdown dance. There you go.
exactly. So
We're on the pizza.
and then we're also going to be talking about some Lions trivia. Okay, so Rochelle and I both can't draw,
Okay.
but we will be drawing on the show. So I will say that.
Artistic skills are being put to the test.
I
Okay.
have none, so we'll see. We'll see what that
Some like
looks
stick figures. What are we going to be seeing here? Or is it a
Yes, well, the
surprise?
Lions logo has changed a lot throughout
Yes.
history. It's changed a lot, but it's also stayed the same a lot. So we're going to be kind of testing out what we think that logo should look like.
The new look. Okay.
That'll be fun.
We'll
And
see. You know, maybe we'll have to mail it in to Lions and see what they
Yeah,
think, and maybe
say-
they'll put on their helmets.
Here's a Studio 10 things.
be
And then
cool.
we'll also be doing some Dan Campbell trivia as well, because the things that he says are just interesting. So we're going to do some of that. And then we're also talking about the Capital Area Humane Society. They finally unveiled their beautiful new puppy and dog shelter.
Yeah.
I got a chance to check it out. It's so cute. It's amazing. It looks like home.
That's good.
It looks and feels like home. It does not look like a shelter. In
I was-
fact, when I walked in, I was like, whoa, like this is, like I think I stood there for like 5 minutes just looking like this is amazing. And so I'm really excited to share that, because they put in great work, and the best part is it was all community funded.
Oh, that's great. And now these pups and dogs, you're getting all the royal treatment and feeling like they're in a home before they get their forever home.
Yeah, so that it makes the temporary stay not scary, and it also makes the experience of adopting less scary too, because
Yeah.
it can be really sad. So I think that you're gonna love what you see, because I loved it, and even people who don't love cats and dogs, I think they'd find it really cool, because the design is adorable. So yeah, but
right.
we've got the full show, so we'd love to see you there at 3.
Sounds good. Thank you, Claudia. And here's where you can always stay up to date with Studio 10. You've got their website, their Instagram, as well as their email right there on your screen for you. And of course, if you ever want to check back any of their previous segments that they've had, all you have to do is go to @WILX Studio 10, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, and then you just go through, click on anything you're looking to learn about or whatever, and you're good to go. Oh, I accidentally pushed something. Okay, here we go. Oh, I cut off your head a bit, Colton. I apologize. We're going to have to move this in a second. There we go.
I'll lean down.
You'll lean down a bit. Well,
Second time I've been told I'm tall today.
you're very tall.
We took a photo earlier, and I'm just like,
Sticking out, and the rest of us are like down here, like, hey.
it's okay though. But yeah, lots to talk about in the weather department. Been kind of gloomy here locally, but what I wanted to do is first talk about the hurricane. It's been getting a lot of national attention, mainly because of how strong it's going to be. But what has been happening, this is Hurricane Lee. Now, reference of where this is actually still out in the central Atlantic. This is east of the Caribbean, so it is a ways away. But what's happening with it right now is something that's called rapid intensification. So that's when a hurricane rapidly intensifies in a very short period of time. And this is about as impressive as a satellite view that you're going to see of a hurricane right now. And you can see the well-defined eye with Hurricane Lee. This is forecast from the National Hurricane Center to become a Category 5 hurricane within the next day or so as it moves out into the Atlantic. Now, thankfully, this hurricane is forecast to miss land almost entirely. It's a forecast right now to move north of the Caribbean, so it's not going to impact any of the islands there except for some big surf that's going to build in. But what's going to happen is it is eventually going to take a turn, hopefully away from the east coast of the United States, but this is a long ways out from possibly doing that, because as it moves to the west, it is going to be slowing down. So we're not talking about until maybe next week of when this might be getting closer to the U.S., but at this point, most of our models have it staying away from the east coast, which would be good news because this thing is a monster hurricane. We're very anxious to see the next advisory from the Hurricane Center, because the last advisory had it as a Category 2, but I suspect that this is going to be probably a Category 3, 4 by the next advisory, which should come out at 5 o'clock here. But a very impressive hurricane. I just kind of wanted to show you that because it has been making some national news.
Well, you're seeing it swirl very, very fast. And so I know it's not expected to make landfall. Are there any concerns of the weather patterns that could bring our way?
Yeah, so we have to keep an eye on it because it is forecast to move in the general direction of the United States, but a lot of it has it curving before it gets to the United States. Okay. So curving back out into the Atlantic.
Hopefully.
So we actually have a cool down that's coming next week. So that's going to be with a trough in the jet stream, and that's what's supposed to kick this thing back out to the Atlantic Ocean.
That's good.
So all weather's connected. So yeah, we want that to happen. So we'll be keeping an eye on it. I just want to show you that because we saw, this thing is very quickly intensifying. The next advisory is going to bump this thing up way, and I would suspect, looking at satellite, at least Category 4 probably by the next advisory. Very impressive with this hurricane. So you just see the well-defined eye with it. We saw the eye clear out. Yeah, it's incredible to see this.
It is. It's very scary looking.
Yeah, so just kind of want to talk about that, but we can talk about more locally here. It's going to zoom all the way out, and here we are.
Cool.
Yeah, so here locally, we're just kind of dealing with the gloomy weather that's been out there with some clouds. We've seen some rain as well, some mist, and just a gloomy day so far.
Yeah.
Very fall-like outside, and we have been seeing just some very light rain. It hasn't been all that heavy, but it's just been kind of a nuisance more than anything outside, and we're going to see that continue for the rest of the day. Now, this is a look from our MSU Skycam. This is actually improved earlier. I picked this one because it was completely wet, but now things are drying out a bit. So we see that mist that just kind of makes everything, damp outside. And
well, if we take a look at our Delta Township Skycam too, you can look at that. Oh, the raindrops are on there too.
Yeah, so it's just kind of gloomy outside, especially after the heat and humidity that we've been dealing with as of late. Now we're going to see cooler weather take over here over the next several days. Temperatures are in the 60s and 70s. We are stuck in the 60s here locally because of some of the rain that we've been seeing. But you can see it's a little bit warmer once you get closer to Metro Detroit, where it's in the middle 70s there in Ann Arbor. I think we'll probably be stuck with 60s, maybe some lower 70s for the rest of the day today. Temperatures are not going to warm up too much. And then tomorrow we'll likely see highs in the 60s. So it is going to be this cool air that's just going to be kind of sticking around.
Yeah, so maybe people can give their air conditioning a break.
Oh, yeah, and I think the ACs are going to really enjoy the break that we're going to have, not only tomorrow, but really for most of the extended forecast. We may need it over the weekend.
Okay.
Temperatures are going to warm back up into the middle 70s. I'll leave it up to you to decide if you want your windows open with temperatures in the 70s. But
Your preference on that one.
yeah, but we're going to be stuck in the 60s for the day today. The clouds will remain lingering around. Tonight we may see some drizzle as well, or maybe some light rain. Temperatures will drop down into the 50s. And then tomorrow's going to be a cloudy day. We'll see some of that rain being possible as well. But mainly early. But what's going to happen Friday night is our skies are going to clear out, and we should start to see some sunshine build in here by the time we get into the weekend. So I think the weekend is shaping up to be a pretty nice one across the area with temperatures that'll be in the 70s on Saturday. Well, actually both days. Lower 70s on Saturday, and then 75 degrees on Sunday. So the weekend's looking fantastic.
For those tailgating for the Michigan State game this Saturday, what? I mean, 73
good.
looks good.
It looks good. It might be a little chilly in the morning.
Okay.
But other than that, it looks really good. You know, we're going to see maybe a few clouds in the morning, but then the sunshine should build in during the afternoon. Looks good, I think. And if you want to get any of those fall activities in this weekend, I think this is still a little warm for me to do any fall activities. You know, temperatures in the 70s. I'd wait for like 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But
wait for it to drop a little bit more.
So maybe one last, summer-like weekend here. I shouldn't say last. We still maybe could warm up again. But it's definitely going to be pretty nice out there. But looking at the next 10 days, that's a lot of cooler air. The highest temperature I have on there is 75, and that's Sunday.
A little bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah, every other day is really cool. So I mentioned that trough that's going to bring us some cooler air. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You're seeing that.
That's why we have 60s. That's what should keep that hurricane away from the East Coast. Fingers crossed. It's going to be close. But then we'll see temperatures kind of rebound a bit towards the end of next week back into the 70s. So 60s and 70s for the next 10 days, but that's pretty much in line for where we should be. We have average high of 77 degrees, so we'll be slightly below that for the majority of the 10-day forecast period. So overall, not too bad, I don't think, as we are tracking these cooler temperatures that are on the way over the next 10 days. But of course, tonight's a big night, right? So
Go
I wanted to
Lions!
show you the forecast. Hang on, Taylor. I'm going to grab something. Talk over this for a second.
Talk over this. Well, I can tell you that a lot of us have indeed. We took a picture. We've got our blue on. We took a little station picture. Head to our Facebook pages. You can either look up Colton Cichoracki or Taylor Gattoni, and you will find that we have a nice big picture. We also quickly...
Hang on. Let's talk about the forecast.
Okay, my bad. Jumping ahead.
This is the forecast for Arrowhead Stadium. It's important to know the weather because it's an outdoor stadium. So the game kicks off at 8:20, I believe, our time. But, of course, Kansas City's in the central time zone, so they'll see some sunshine to start. Clear skies, really not much of a chance for rain. Temperatures will be falling into the 70s. I don't expect weather to cause a huge issue here for tonight's Lions game. Hopefully it means a big victory for our Lions out there in Kansas City to kick off the NFL season. So, Taylor, I don't know how you feel about this upcoming Lions season, but I think a lot of people would be joining us by drinking some of the blue Kool-Aid.
Clink. Raise those glasses up. Get that blue Kool-Aid going.
I'll try it.
Yeah, drink.
It's pretty good.
That was good.
That's good.
That was good. I'll take another sip.
So hopefully the Lions have a very good season. You know, I've been a lifelong Lions fan.
I was going to say, to the Lions.
I hope, my goodness, I hope that they put it together this season. We'll see.
Come on, Dan Campbell.
I know.
Get the team going.
But we got the blue Kool-Aid.
We do.
We're ready
we did
to
our
go.
part.
Go Lions. And remember, you can watch it right here on Channel 10, WILX. I believe coverage starts at 7 p.m. You have all night long to watch some Detroit Lions football. And then we'll be back with News 10 at 11, which is live after the football game. So.
I'm like still tasting that in my mouth. It's good. Yeah, go get yourself some blue Kool-Aid. Cheer on the Lions. Okay.
Go Lions.
Go Lions. Anything else on the forecast you want to share?
No, I think that about
one more time. Let's show that. Lions at the Chiefs. Get ready for it.
I got to give a shout out to one of my former coworkers who sent me this picture of Arrowhead. Chris Roush sent me this photo. Who works down in Missouri. He covers a lot of Chiefs games. I texted him this morning. I said, "Hey, do you have a photo?" It's a little blurry because I had to ingest it into our system, but
that's
it's okay.
all right. It gives it that cool kind of like blurry-ish background. It looks good. I like it. I like it like that.
So should be a fun game.
I thought it was meant to be like that actually. So.
No. It just sort of because you had to squeeze it out a little to fit the background of the graphic and whatnot. So.
We got a lot going on. But that looks good. I like it.
Yeah.
Got a little forecast. Okay. I still want to drink this little Kool-Aid.
It's all yours.
It's all mine. I don't know. You gonna drink some more during Studio 10?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Well, Studio 10 is coming up in about 45 minutes, a little bit under that. And then following, we have First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. We want to share what you can look forward to today. Starting with First at 4 in Mid-Michigan Matters, we are talking about the law enforcement torch run. So going from Copper Harbor all the way to Detroit, this run has been going on for 39 years now. We're bringing on Sergeant Bachman from the city of Potterville, who's going to be talking about the importance of this cause. They're helping to raise money for Special Olympics. So we'll talk about all the different ways that they're helping out with that and the significance of the law enforcement torch run. Coming up, News 10 at 5. Oh, there we go. Let's see here. Oh, that kicked off. Well, Tim is previewing the Lions and Chiefs on NBC, so you can look forward to that. And I actually kind of want to, or I'm going to show that at the end. We'll show that at the end. I'm jumping ahead of myself today. We're all over. News 10 at 5:30. Mackinac Island is the site of an evacuation drill today. This is the first ever of its kind exercise. So we're taking a live look from our partners up north. The News 10 at 6 p.m. September is National Suicide Prevention Month. And every day, 12,000 kids in the United States die by suicide. So last year, a 15-year-old boy from Okemos was among them. And our Ann Emmerich is going to kick off our You're Not Alone series. And she's going to introduce us to the family behind Eli's legacy. And you do not want to miss that. So all of that coming up during First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. And also going back to the Lions because we cannot get enough. Here we go one more time. Yep, you can catch the game tonight on News 10. I don't know if this is supposed to have sound or not. Oh, probably. Should I stop talking? Let them do their thing? I will. Let me restart that in just a second. That's all right. Here we go. One more.
Welcome to the Football Night in America studio. Maria Taylor, Devin McCourty, and Jason Garrett here with you. And we're so excited because the NFL season finally kicks off on Thursday. And we are all headed to Kansas City to watch them take on the Detroit Lions. But the question is, the expectations that we have for the reigning Super Bowl champions is what going into this season?
Yeah, first, I'm excited to just be there. Seeing a banner fall, I won 3 Super Bowls. They kept me in the locker room. I couldn't see it. So I'm excited to see that. But I think, yes, this team coming in, Patrick Mahomes now, 6th season as a starter, 2 MVPs and 2 Super Bowl championships. They're looking to become a dynasty, and I think we're ready to see that. They will become a dynasty this year.
Absolutely. A lot of hype about the Lions. I have a lot of faith in their offense. They're balanced. They can attack different ways. The real question mark is their defense, particularly in this game against Patrick Mahomes and all those weapons that the Chiefs have.
All right, we're all going to find out together on Thursday. Make sure you join us. Our coverage will begin at 7 Eastern on NBC.
All right, well, you can get excited for the Lions tonight, taking on the Chiefs over at the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So we also want to share what is coming up during our 90 minutes of news with our reporters. We do have Riley here, sitting tight and cozy. What is that, your coffee?
Oh, yeah, coffee at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
You got to wake
Maybe
yourself
not
up.
wise, but extremely necessary is all I will say.
Well, on a rainy day like this, yeah, you got to give yourself that extra boost.
Gotta stay awake.
Gotta stay awake. All right, well, we'll take a little pause right here. We're going to send it out to our reporters and see what they have coming up. Oh, and I don't know where that just went. Never mind. I'm a little all over the place right now. Riley, we're just going to start with you instead.
That works.
What is going on today?
Well, we are following, the campaign trail for an open U.S. Senate seat, which was previously held by U.S. Senator Debbie Stabenow, who's our representative for Michigan in the Senate, and she's decided not to run for re-election. So we've got an open seat here. We've got a lot of contenders on both sides of the aisle, so Democrats and Republicans. The most recent Republican candidate to announce a campaign is Mike Rogers, who's a former U.S. representative. If you don't know, Mike Rogers had retired in 2015 and kind of left politics altogether and is now coming back to restart a campaign for this Senate seat. So he's running up against a couple of other Republican contenders as well. And then, of course, we've got some of our Democrats. We've got Alyssa Slotkin, who's a current congresswoman for Michigan.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of other voices on the Republican side, too, who are running. But we're following Rogers' announcement of his campaign for today and talking with him about what some of his expectations are for this running and asking a couple of questions of what some of those issues are that he's hoping to touch on, and hopefully hearing from some of our Democratic folks in the running too about what some of their goals are. So it should be a very interesting race. But we're just kind of laying out what's ahead and what they're going to be talking to some of their supporters, or they call them constituents, what some of their constituents are going to be looking to hear from them and looking to support.
Well, it's good covering both sides right there. And then also, big deal, because Debbie Stabenow held that seat for quite a while.
For quite a while, and it's actually been a while since there has been a Republican in that seat, I believe since 1994.
Wow, okay.
So it has been a long time since we've seen Republicans kind of take hold of that seat. So it's a race that I think a lot of people are going to, be having their eyes on now. It's always a big deal when we have these big seats open for the running, especially Senate or, U.S. representatives as well. So it should be quite interesting. So everybody's kind of just getting started with campaigning. So this is that time where we really start to hear what a lot of these candidates are looking to achieve, and it's most people's, kind of first exposure to what they're going to be, looking to bring to the table if they're elected into that position. So it is going to have a lot of eyes on it, I think.
And just to get you ready for next year, big election year next year. So just buckle in for that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of coverage opportunities there too. So it was just getting started today. He was going and doing a couple of roundtable discussions, which, we've seen a lot of those lately too from some of our folks who are currently in, Senate and representative seats, both for the state and at the federal level. These talks where they just kind of sit with, maybe groups, organizations, advocate groups, or folks in the community who are supporters of their issues, and they can kind of have these open conversations about, what they would like to see happen in the future, maybe some laws that they'd like to see change. So right now it's kind of laying the groundwork with some of those conversations and figuring out, where they're going to go next on this campaign trail.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to make their mark, kind of stand their ground of this is what I'm presenting you with, this is the plan,
Most
and
definitely.
trying to hear all the different sides and perspectives of how they can keep growing their platform. And yeah, we'll see when it comes election time what's going to happen.
Absolutely. It'll be very interesting.
It'll be
But you
very
can catch what I had to talk about with Mr. Rogers earlier today. That'll be coming up on 5:30. We caught him just after a roundtable discussion when he was in Brighton a little bit earlier today, and got to ask a couple of questions of his expectations and some of those things that he's going to be touching on, some of those big issues that he's bringing forward in his campaign. A lot about national security, a lot about the economic well-being of the U.S., so some very interesting things he had to say there too. So you can tune in at 5:30 to find out a little bit more.
I'm going to say, you definitely learned a lot, not just today, but throughout your whole time covering this. So full of information over here. Yes, Riley will have more coming up on News 10 at 5:30, but that's why it's always great bringing you onto the live desk too, so you can have that opportunity to share more with our audience on, more into the story.
Yeah, these are my favorite things to touch on a lot of times too, is to do some of these political stories and let people know what's going on. That's the whole focus here, is to let people know before you're getting to your ballot box, here's a little bit more about these folks who are hoping to start making the decisions for our state and for our federal government. So
yeah, there you go, and choose wisely. That's why you want to do your research, figure it out, and form your own opinion so you can go about it. All right, thank you, Riley. We're going to send it out to Aaron, Mars, and Amaya out in the field to see what they have coming up.
Thanks, Taylor. I'm Erin Bowling, and today I'm in Lansing at Kavanaugh Dental, where early this morning a car drove through not only just the first set of doors, but the second set of doors as well. I spoke to the restoration company that helped them patch up the hole, as well as an employee about how they are recovering from this severe damage. All of this story on News 10 at 5.
Mars Anderson here at the state capitol, where the House of Representatives just hosted their 9/11 memorial event and a luncheon. We had different ceremonies going on today, also some guest speakers. And so I'll have a little bit more on what took place in our 90 minutes of news. I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to Amaya. What are you working on?
Thanks. Today I'm talking to Lansing Mayor Andy Shore and the Lansing Police Chief about taking illegal guns off of the street. More on that story in our 90 minutes of news later tonight. But for now, Taylor, back to you at the desk.
All right, thank you, Amaya, Mars, and Aaron for sharing what you have coming up during our 90 minutes of news later on today. I do want to mention on our live stream here, when we're updating our titles, something might have glitched in there where it says we were still talking about the accident. That was a little bit earlier. So unfortunately, I'm sorry if you missed that. We will have more coming up on all the accidents, all of the news later on during First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news to keep you informed on everything happening. I know there was the crash on I-96 or near I-96, Saginaw Highway in Delta Township earlier today. That did reopen earlier this morning. So we touched on that on News 10 today at 11. We'll have a little bit more coming up during our later newscast as well. So I apologize for that little glitch in the system. Bear with us here. During this 2 p.m., we're going over Studio 10. We're going over your first alert forecast and also sharing what's coming up during our 90 minutes of news. So we are working to get that fixed as quickly as possible. And again, thank you so much for your patience and for letting us know what is going on in there. We had a few comments, and that's why it's great to have the live comments so you also can keep us informed on here. And again, we just want to apologize on that. One more thing we want to mention with everything going on is we have a new series happening throughout the next year. It is called You're Not Alone, and our very own Ann Emmerich is very busy making sure that well, she's actually kicking it off for us, the You're Not Alone mental health series. So again, going throughout the next year here, and so you can scan that QR code with your phone on the screen, scan for resources, and you're not alone. So we're providing all the mental health topics and why it's important to focus on this. So Ann Emmerich will have more coming up later today. Again, that is going to be News 10 at 6 p.m. And the reason we're starting this now is because September is National Suicide Prevention Month. I mentioned this at the beginning of our live stream here, but just a recap, every day 12,000 kids in the United States die by suicide, and that is every single day in the United States. And then last year, a 15-year-old boy from Okemos was among them. And so as we kick off this series, Ann Emmerich will have more. So make sure you don't miss that. Again, that is coming up News 10 at 6 today. And then we also want to mention, again, with all of the gloomy weather going on, we do want to share the First Alert weather app, always a great tool for the hour-by-hour, radar, satellite. You can get the video updates as well from all of our First Alert meteorologists. You have Justin, Colton, Andy, and Darren. Colton is in today. You'll see him during Studio 10 and First at 4. And Andy should be in for our 90 minutes of news. But yeah, always download the First Alert weather app. Stay up to date on anything happening with your local weather. You can have the Follow Me feature, and you can also get your traffic alert updates. So download it for free off of Google Play and the Apple App Store. Always a great tool to have on your phone. Again, one more time, just want to apologize about the accidents. This live stream was not about the accidents. This is what we have coming up during our later newscast and an update on your First Alert forecast. So we hope you have a great rest of your day. You can tune into Studio 10 coming up at 3. Have a great one.